Hello, out there in cyberspace. I'm very excited. Hello, Natalie. Thank you for joining me. I've felt a real call to share with all of you those that really inspire me and have inspired my journey and create so much light in this world. And today I will be joined by Komala Lyra, who is a very special woman, teacher, divine channel of grace. She should be joining us any moment now. Hello, Sophia. Hello, Ariana. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will invite Komala, who teaches to dance with darkness, to awaken.
Yay!
Hello, sister.
Okay, I go on the phone, as you said. Let's see. I had prepared everything on the computer, but now I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we are in Mercury retrograde with many planets in retrograde now, so it feels a bit right that technology plays with us. But we're going to play right back.
Okay, so let's. I think now it works like
Yes.
this. I can sit in this beautiful place here. Just 1 second.
Yay, Sophia is with us. Hello, beautiful sister. Lots of love to you all, wherever you are. As Komala gets herself prepared there in beautiful Ibiza.
Where I am in this beautiful, beautiful place.
Oh,
Ay, ay, ay. Lovely ocean.
what a blessing. You received so many blessings for your good work throughout all these years.
So
Boom, Shakti.
let's try to put the phone in a way that, yeah, is it okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
lady
good.
in red.
Yeah.
For those of you out there that don't know Komala, which since I've been posting about our live, I realized that there are a lot of people that have crossed your path that I didn't realize. So thank you so much for joining me. And I would love to introduce you as a mentor for so many that, you know, this grace that you carry, this unconditional love, this Shakti power on the dance floor, how inspiring it is to so many of us. And I love to sit and listen to your stories, you know, how many times. Just listen and listen. And so, you know, I invited you here to share your wisdom and to help people understand the potential of tantra, especially in these times. So what are your thoughts on that?
So, well, I feel we are living in really funny, amazing historical moments that will be remembered and probably is going to be the peak of our lifetimes, really. The people that are alive now and so many babies I know being born in the last 5 months. I never knew so many babies being born. It's incredible. So many friends are having babies, just like by bunches coming down. So it's a time that freshness is required, and also an acquaintance with death. I'm going to weave a few things that talk to me about this moment. Just a few weeks ago, for the first time, I went online with a festival that was supposed to happen, a Easter festival that was supposed to happen in America. And of course, it couldn't happen. So the idea was that we did it online, and there was 1,600,000 people. 1,600, yeah,
16,000.
yeah, 16,000. And 500 people on a waiting list. We couldn't take more. We thought it was going to be 200 people. And I had been called to do the bardo, to move through the process of death, which is something I'm very acquainted, that I use for many years with myself and in groups with people that were literally dying. and it has been incredibly amazing, also connected with my sexuality. So how? That's interesting. And I felt it was it's a festival around sexuality and consciousness. Everybody was offering different things that were more vibrate and more talking about emotionality and orgasms, and I'm offering something about that. So I was surprised that there was almost 200 people in this call, and that people were extremely touched. I got many messages because for me the connection tantra is about presence. Is to me the best description I can use is the thread of consciousness through anything and everything. Usually we tend to be more activated by something that we prefer and less activated by something we don't prefer, and we lose consciousness in the pushing away things that we don't like or don't want. And death and fear of death is what we're presenting now. Like, nothing could unite the planet Earth, but fear of death has united and has created 7 billion people willingly locking themselves in their own houses. Just like, really? For something that actually doesn't even really can be seen, and nobody even knows if it's really true. I'm going to be a bit radical here, okay? I'm not going against science, nor I want to be political about that. I just wanted to say that either it exists or not, if it's nothing about having a reality check or that, fear of death has locked a planet and has changed a life of many, many, many people. And acquaintance and lovingness for death was what I've learned living 10 years in India. That was my first experience when I arrived in India. I was fascinated. This is like 45 years ago. I was fascinated. I was very young, and I saw people dancing on the streets, and I followed. So I was a dancer. So I followed people dancing, and I didn't know where they were going. And there was this beautiful dance, and everybody blah blah blah, and instruments. And when I realized we're following a little child's coughing, and they were going to the burning guts. I'd never seen this in my life, because in the West, the death has to do with crying, and then I see a group of people dancing and singing for a dead child. This was my first meeting of India. And for the years that I lived in India, more and more, there was this acquaintance of death, acquaintance of letting go of ideas of death at all levels. But mainly, and for the deepest core, death of the identity of everything that I thought I was, death of everything that, I thought I wanted, and more an ability to live in the freshness of the moment, of feeling what is here now. So what does this has to do with sex? A lot.
Everything. Everything.
Because a lot of our sexuality is tinged by ideas that are completely unreal, that are based in fear, morality, constraint, conditioning, and anything else, control from powers, everything else that doesn't allow us to be in the moment, to die to all those ideas, to die to all the projections, expectations, and desires that are based in completely unreal things, to be present, to feel each other, to feel what is happening right now. What is happening right now? How can I feel someone? How can I allow my life force to be activated and eventually merge with someone else? But it doesn't even need to merge with someone else. The
With
power,
creation.
yeah, the power of eros is the power of
Yeah.
creation. It can be the creation of anything,
Mm-hmm.
from a painting to music to dance to anything, to cleaning the bathroom, to to the creation of a human being.
Yeah.
So that power is what we mostly people have forgotten. I consciously decided to get sterilized when I was very young, because I didn't want to have a child already in those days, in a planet that I didn't think served human beings. So I dedicated my life to find out what and how could I live with more awareness. And instead of putting another person on the planet to teach me that, there was enough people in my perception on the planet. So I thought I'd take the ones that are there already to teach me. And so that's what has been my life. So in this moment, the thread of tantra, the thread of awareness, how can I be awareness and present each moment, each moment, each moment? This is what in this moment people are being forced to at least try, because they don't have another choice when there's still many people locked inside their own houses wanting things to be different. Well, the things that can be different can only be different if we create them, and if we are in tune with what is real for us in this moment, to respond with clarity to, yes, this feels good, this doesn't feel good, this. And it's not even about feeling good or not feeling good. Is this real right now? It's becoming, it's merging with the reality of each moment. It's merging with the sun that touches their skin. It's merging with the smell that's coming into your nose. It's merging with another body. So increasing our capacity to merge with life is what this moment, in narrowing our possibilities to go out and get distracted, is an incredible opportunity. So anyway, I'm just weaving lots: death, sex, orgasms, life. It's all in the same, because it's all the same.
Yes.
To devoid life of sexuality in a healthy way is really the best way to control people, because you're devoiding people of their connection with the deepest core uh, intuitive guidance that they can have for their own creativity. So that has nothing to do with having a partner, with being in love with someone. Has to do with being merging with yourself and merging with life, no matter where you are, however you are.
Ah, everybody take that in. Breathe with that feeling of oneness, right? I also had one of the most enlightening experience for me that really connect me with my wholeness was being with my grandfather and helping him die at 16. And very quickly, you know, that moment when he passed over, all I wanted to do was dance. All I
Mm.
wanted to do was go and celebrate. And this sensation of death as our greatest teacher is so powerful. And tell us a little bit about your time. Like, how did you get the call to go to India all those years ago before it was actually on the map, you know?
So, when I went to India, it was like I think if you go to the moon today, it's not as
Right.
far, because there was no phone
Great.
network, there was no fax. There is no, it looked like thousands of years ago, but it was not. It was just 30 years ago. So no phone. 30, well, 40, no, how much? 40 years ago. Wow. So there was no phone,
Infinite.
there was no fax, there was no letters you can send because they never arrive. There was no ways to communicate. Telegram. Maybe if you're lucky, a telegram would take 2 months to get to the person. Once I received the telegram, that took 2 months to arrive. I said someone had died because I hadn't received the message from anybody for years. They didn't even know where I was. So it was a call, it was this call of wanting to find life. Well, the story is that I almost died. I was 26, and I had a very strong thing that I almost died. And I was saved. I was put in an helicopter, sent to a hospital. And in this experience, I realized the beauty of this total surrender. I was really dying. And I reached that place where, yeah, there was such a deep peace and such a deep surrender. I was happy to die. So I was very upset that my life has been saved. And for some reason, I had an intuitive idea that in India, people could die in peace. that if I would die there, nobody would bother and nobody was going to try to save me. So that was my main reason why I went to India. And many things happened. And uh, if I want to say that the greatest initiation in India for me was the initiation into death, the death of everything that I knew and I imagined and I wanted, and to see the freshness of life, that actually what I was looking for wasn't anything outside, but was to reconnect with my ability to stay present to what was without the filters of all the conditioning, all the stories, all the imposition, expectations, desires of other people, projections that you just keep all the time either doing this or let yourself be suffocated. And for some reason, my soul was very clear since a very early age that I can't live like this. And of course, I didn't have a language to explain what it was. I was moved by feelings and craziness. And I had a dream that I had to go to India. It was a physical dream that I have to go with nothing. So I did that. And yeah, the unfolding was to find a master, to find the death of the identification rather than the death of the body. So I'm here 40 years later. But I also realized that my connection with sexuality has always been a guidance in how this portal opened. And because it was a combination of this experience and the experience that I had with sexuality that were very potent of opening a space, the being a portal to emerging in a deep level of relaxation and awareness that I didn't have with anything else. So it was a combination of both, and I found both actually were the same thing. So more, this is a question that people ask me nowadays, that I am kind of an elder in a, which I don't feel like that at all.
No,
That
infinite.
that I am surrounded by people of all ages, and nowadays by a lot of babies. And I have very close friends who are 20, 22, 23 that are amazing. And I don't feel older than them. I feel that I'm listening to them sometimes in a much more, you know, drinking way that I feel anybody can listen to me, because of course, I've lived enough, so I have some things to tell. But they come already with a hardware, a software, hardware, whatever, with a system that is very tuned. And I feel all that we need to do as elders or people that have a little bit more experience in life is not to suffocate that, because nowadays there's also more means of expression. And the connection between sexuality and death in this moment, for me, people ask, the other day I was interviewed by someone in England asking me what would I tell to women of my age that were going through menopause and depression. And I go, like, I can't say anything because this is not my reality. And I don't advise to people about things that I don't know. I know that I can suggest things to people that are young because that's where I come from. That you don't compromise, that you don't let go of what is real for you. And the result for me is that at my age, I'm more alive than I ever felt in my life, more ready to let go, more orgasmic than I ever been in my life, more juicy, and that there's nothing that is decaying. Of course, the body, I have wrinkles, I have white hair, I have some, stains on my skin, but that is not something to do with is this mechanical part of the body that, I don't even take a lot of care about it. And I live a very intense life, so obviously it's being, a little bit visibly, but the internal aging and the internal connection with death and life becomes more vibrating as one, the more I'm ready to stay and more ready to go. Initiating things. I'm initiating so many projects, and it's like, like, yeah, most people already sitting on the wheelchair or the I don't know, rocking chair. But I don't think that's going to be the case for me. Not because I want to be young or forever young, no, because I feel I want to be really ready to die in the fullness of aliveness. And that merges,
Ah.
and I feel sexuality.
I love this. Yeah.
I feel that sexuality is a strong part of it. Enriched by, I'm very lucky to be around people that I chose to live with, that I am happy to be with, that their bodies, souls, and their hearts as one. So that they are to live a very alternative life, but I don't think it's going to be very alternative. Maybe we have to wait 300 years. But for me, I'm ready now, being ready since ever. So my next big project that I feel imminent in the last 6 months, that I want to be back living in some way in a community of friends that are very grounded in their own beings, that are all independent, but that we have a common ground. I just was sent today the photo and the possibility of buying a little village in Portugal that looks amazing.
Mm.
Right. So that's what I see now. How are we, ready? That's what I learned in India, going back to what I've learned in India, how it was being. I learned to be refreshed. I learned to let go, because in India, of course, you almost die several times and you lose things several
Mm-hmm.
times, you're stolen several times. In 10 years, I had many opportunities to go through many layers of death and many layers of rekindling the fire of my own aliveness by letting go of yet another layer. And this opportunity that people are having now to be with themselves is a rare opportunity that I, I feel it's going to happen again soon again. So the ones that want distraction can go now for distraction for a few months. But I
Because Ibiza has opened already, right? So
no,
people are
not yet.
out of, not yet.
Well, you cannot go to the beach till the 8th of June,
Mhm.
which is ridiculous. Like, sunny, beautiful air, but it's beautiful because nobody can come in, only residents. And yeah, some shops are open and it's obliged to wear masks in public. I haven't been out of my place here for almost 3 months.
Yeah,
Went out 2 days ago,
yeah.
and yeah.
Mm. And about this community, because, you know, I've seen a lot of communities around in my travels, and it doesn't feel like the people are really living communally. There's often like the person that owns most of the land, or, like there's still sort of hierarchies that I see around. So with your experience, what do you recommend for a tantric activated community to really happen and to really support the whole?
Well, this is a really good question. Is the core questions. I am part, and I'm a lead faculty of ISTA, which is the International School of Temple
Hmm.
Arts, and that's a community of about 90 people, between faculty, organizers, and apprentices, that operates in more than 50 countries around the world. So my lifestyle for the last many years has been even more traveling and more being all over. I think last year I was in 26 countries and took so many airplanes. And now suddenly I'm not going anywhere for the last 6 months. And it feels that is this ISTA doesn't have any grounding anywhere. We are totally international. We work together in groups of 3 plus 3 facilitators and usually 8 to 10 assistants. So we have this community, itinerant community that sets camp in different places at different times. So we spend a lot of time together,
Hmm.
generating another level of consciousness for living in and being together, including conscious sexuality. It's a very beautiful program of basic, and it's basic but advanced, because it's like if everybody in the planet had that awareness, it would be very different to live. Many things and relatings would change, which is being changed for the people that are coming to those trainings. And it's not a training, it's a training for life. You're not learning anything, you're learning more about yourself and about relating. It's explorations. So many people even come several times to the same training, because it's not like, oh, you learned that, tick it off. It's an exploration that becomes more alive and deeper, and it's something you take for life. So the baseline of what this community has been, and how we do relate without having any figure, that which is an awesome experiment. We have 16 leads. One comes, I come from, so many years from Osho. Someone else has been a rabbi. Someone else is a Sufi. Someone else comes from yogi training. Another one is a medical scientist. There's very different backgrounds, but the common ground is the love and the willingness to stay in vulnerability, to keep refreshing ourselves and keep staying vibrating to what's real. And of course, there are issues that come up, but the difference that I find in everything that I've lived, including previous community life, is that we keep taking self responsibility. We're not waiting for anybody to tell us what. And I feel the time of the masters and teachers, yeah, okay, we're always learning, but to have a central figure is complete. It can be still very useful for many people. It was very useful for me to be with Osho for so many years. But I feel in the planet, if we don't take self responsibility, it's not going to be the next president or the next guru that's going to change anything. And that's maybe the why we're seeing so much what word to use, except a bad word that I don't use. So much horrible things happening around the planet, with horrible guidance from presidents and corporations and stuff. Maybe it is the way that people wake up to realize, well, when I'm going to be sitting here waiting for the next president, how many fucked up people are we going to have till I wake up? So for
Yeah.
me, a community has to be based in responsibility above all. And that's what shifts the possibilities of relating from different levels, of relating in a way that's not only monogamous. It doesn't mean going around making love with 300 people, but means being free to express your love in different nuances with different people, and recognizing the realness of each relating in the context of much bigger love than the love of romanticism and lies and oh, I do that, otherwise I will lose this person, or I'll do this because I'm deep in love, and then tomorrow you're not anymore deeply in love. No, it's nourishing a love that's much bigger than the little thing that we create every day and hold on to. So that's the question that we are, a few people, we are asking ourselves, and we are looking at the possibilities. Can we have a group of people that are taking full responsibility for their lives, yet coming together? And this is what Easter is, but we don't have a grounding. So can we land this now, in different places on the planet, where other people can feel, not because we're talking, not because we're teaching anybody, but because you can feel when you come in a beautiful place that has been, Amber, you're amazing at creating spaces. I am amazing at creating space. So we know that when we create it physically or energetically, that people can feel, that affect them and inspire them. You don't need to speak much. It's like, wow, when people come in any home that I've created, or a workshop that I create, and the same for you, people go like, wow, already that space has an imprint that you don't discuss, and many things that you have in the mind get dissolved, because you realize they're not real in face of something that vibrates deeper
Ooh,
inside
I just
of the
got
body.
chills.
So there are moments that I say, fuck, I don't want to create anything anymore. Everything created has been destroyed. But no, what am I going to do here if I'm still here? My life is about being like I feel being alive is to be creative at each moment, and each one of us does it in a different way. But the stagnance and the boredom and the irritation and the anxiety that many people are living right now for being in an apartment or in a house or in a situation where they are dealing with people that they married, the kids that they have, but they never really have even much time together. And
They
now
didn't
being born,
expect it.
oh my God, hope kids go to school, hope the husband go back to work or the wife goes to do whatever. And wow, it's a moment to reflect and see maybe it's time to shift the way we are relating. Maybe it's time to shift the way initially I'm relating to myself, and then consequently, how do I make choices involving other people and creating new possibilities that will then radiate to other people. And I
Wow.
feel that, sometimes I do crazy things in situations. In the last years, most of my stories are stories of airports, and because I've spent so much time in airports. But the other day, I was already a few months ago, I was in the airport, and super tiring coming from a long trip, and I lost my suitcase, so I on the counter to make a complaint, and there was a couple with a baby that was screaming like crazy, and I opened my arms like this, and the baby jumped on me, and the mother go, no, 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 and I goes, no, that's okay, I'm not a baby kind of person that goes looking for babies, but the baby came to me and immediately stopped crying, and the parents couldn't believe. And I realized, yeah, because I'm calm, because it's not a big deal to lose a suitcase. And so I was holding this baby for half an hour. The parents were almost crying of gratitude because they didn't know what to do. But I feel that when you're cultivating more that kind of quality of lightness inside you, and not pushing for how things should be or how you want it to be, uh, there is some kind of radiance that babies that are more in tune with themselves recognize and are able to receive. Adults many
Wow.
often are not able to receive. So
Wow.
that's what I feel, the place I would like to now. I have a beautiful home that I decided to drop, that I just created 2 years ago. Gorgeous home in a gorgeous place. But I feel for now the space needs to expand to embrace other people. There's a lot of beauty in the place I live. It's an amazing international community, but it is a bit superficial. It is a bit still, either we go to the sky or you stay here, you stay here. We do the same. And I don't know, maybe I will stay here and bring something else. But what I see is is a community that really integrates the power of life force to a tantric living, which is a conscious living in many different layers, including sexuality. Tantra is not about sexuality only. Sexuality is the epicenter or the deepest core challenge, because it's so easy to get lost in the other, and to be able
Yes.
to relate and offer it all and still get lost into the universe instead of getting lost into the portal that took you to the universe, is the art of tantric living. Is how can we use each other to open up to the bigness of life rather than hold on to the doors that are opening, you know.
Mm.
So I don't know, I still feel that it's possible, and even if it's not, I feel I need to try once more.
Hmm. And what do you feel? Because so much of this outside world is an example of our inner world and so much disconnection. So when you speak about people self-governing, that making a community of people that are responsible for themselves, their actions, their what they give and what they take, right? So
Mm-hmm.
as a dancer that I miss to dance with, you're like a firecracker, that this energy of your wholeness that you're able to channel, that keeps you so vibrant and alive. what can you say in a few words to the people that will remind them of their own power?
Good question.
Thanks.
I feel that I feel that every single person has their inner key, their inner portal, and that in one way or another, either we want it or not, it opens. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, because I feel this power of so intention is what generates life in the body. Um, that somehow it requires so much power to manifest a body and to come from cosmic to landing, that it's not possible that there's no human being that incarnated that doesn't have that memory. Even if it's very hidden, it's there. So I would definitely feel that the only suggestion I make is like the portal of the opening is like giving yourself time to listen to yourself, to listen
Mm.
here, to listen to the silence that most people cannot stand to be with themselves, much less with others. If you cannot stand to be with yourself, others are often a reflection of our own heart. So obviously, it's more difficult to be with others. But more and more and more and more, I listen. I've listened being in nature. I've listened being in silence with different. But you don't even need to. I could say, oh yeah, practice yoga 5 hours a day, or go find a tantric pattern and do this or do that. But it's much more simple than this. The first meditation of the Vigyambhara Tantra is the only thing that I really carry with me. Is when you breathe in, there's a gap. Before you breathe out, there is a moment where you're doing nothing, and you don't know how and when you're going to breathe out. In this gap, just bring awareness there. When you
Mm.
breathe out again, there is a gap. In that gap, there is a portal, because nothing is happening. You're not breathing in, not breathing out. You're just completely open to that moment of presence. For me, this has been an amazing key, because we cannot have an excuse to not be with the breath, because the breath is life, and if we are life, we're breathing. So it doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what the fuck the situation is, how intense it is, how whatever, you're breathing. So you can always enter that gap. And that has been my life savior in many situations of intensity, because I have had profoundly paradisic life for many years, and then I have had to go into situations back that, oh gosh, I never thought I was going to have to feel this again. And in this moment, this is what I realized that I have learned. I've learned to, instead of being identified with the situation and fight the situation, to penetrate the situation with presence. And it doesn't mean to be aloof. It doesn't mean not to feel, but it means to feel and to be totally present without fighting. Usually, either we are present because we like and we're not fighting and we want it, or we are fighting and wanting to run away.
Mm.
So, what it is to feel something that even not pleasant and stay there without running away and without sacrificing. It's just this gap and this moment where you just see, that's how it is. It's can be pain. I've experimented a lot with that in moments that I had intense physical pain. Recently, I had a surgery for 4 hours that I didn't want to have a general anesthesia, and the guy was a dental surgeon. He said it's impossible. I said no, it's possible, and it was amazing. It wasn't pleasant. It was super intense, but I didn't feel any pain afterwards because I was present, and I realized, wow, the reason why most people feel pain afterwards is because they check out And then suddenly they come back and the whole body is going nuts because it is a trauma. Someone cut and, you know, and did this and did that and stitch you. And then you come back and your consciousness has to catch up with this going away. And we do that not with anesthesia. We anesthetize ourselves with so many things, with Facebook, with phones, with porno, with distraction, with movies, with restaurants, with food. So nothing is wrong with any of those things, but it's how do we use those things? I'm realizing now, because I have had to be online for a week in a experiment. I'm very resistant to be online. I've said no to about 10 things, and I'm saying yes to this because I love you so much and I miss you. And okay,
Mm.
let's play, you know, and it's meaningful. But I also realizing how teenagers are being disconnected from their bodies by using those means. Like I couldn't sleep after a week being 4 or 5 hours online.
Yeah.
For a week I couldn't sleep. My eyes were hurting. I couldn't feel. I didn't know what I wanted to eat. And I like, wow, this is what most of these kids are now being, you know, living. I'm creating now a program for teenagers that is going
Good.
to start in a few weeks. That unhappily has to be starting to online, but it will be very short, more like punctuation with lots of things to be done
Yeah.
at home. But yeah.
Well, thank you. That was the perfect description. And it really takes us back to the beginning because inside of that breath, that little death in the moment of pause, we can really become a witness about life and we can recognize that we're not giving air to the pain body. We're not giving air to the expectation. We're just resting in the essence of being. This is so powerful. And as dancers, we know about this. Yeah, we know about letting go and allowing ourselves to be carried into the unknown because that's the only way that we're going to really express the truth that we have within. And you know, I'm very always inspired by your generation of seekers that went to Osho. And I feel how powerful this time that you had there and like that you decided not to become a mother of a child and that you stood on your path and you've walked it for these many years. And I feel like the generations that are coming now, they need to know you. They need to see a woman, yes, a vibrant, beautiful, sexy mama elder that is holding this power, that is taught to so many young women and men that we only have this potential for a short time.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, when I dance with you, I have chills just speaking with you because I feel this vibrancy. It's like these flames coming off of you, of life, of love. And, you know, for me as a woman that was not, I was raised in Brooklyn, you know, not like the most spiritual place. And when I meet you and this energy that's so supportive of other women and not trying to be in competition with each other, really noticing that we shine brighter together. I think that this is one of the greatest gifts for us, that as we grow, we have mentors and we have people that say, come over here, let me help you, let me show you, let me, you know, express to you all that I've learned. And I'm very grateful for this
Mm-hmm.
opportunity
Mm-hmm.
because for a woman, it's not always so easy.